Isaiah chapter 45, Cyrus the Anointed. Thus says Adonai to his anointed Cyrus, whose right hand I have grasped to subdue nations before him, to loose the belt of kings, to open doors before him, so the gates may not be shut. I will go before you and make crooked places straight. I will shatter bronze doors and cut through iron bars. I will give you treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, so you may know that I am Adonai, the God of Israel, calls you by your name. For the sake of Jacob my servant and Israel my chosen one, I have also called you by name. I have given you a title of honor. Though you have not known me, I am Adonai, there is no other God. Besides me there is no God. I will strengthen you, though you have not known me, so they may know from the rising unto the setting of the sun that there is no one behind me. I am Adonai, there is no other. I form light and create darkness. I make shalom and create calamity. I, Adonai, do all these things. Rain down, O heavens, from above, and let the clouds pour down justice. Let the earth open up, let salvation sprout, and righteousness spring up with it. I, Adonai, have created it. Oy to the one who quarrels with his maker. Like a pot among the pots of the earth shall the clay say to the potter, what have you made? Or does your work say it has no handles? Oy to him who says this to his father, what have you begotten? Or to a woman, what have you borne? Thus says Adonai, the Holy One of Israel and its maker. Ask me about the things to come upon my children, then you will commit to me the work of my hands. I made the earth and created man on it. My hand stretched out the heavens, and I commanded all their hosts. I stirred Cyrus up righteous, and I will level all his roads. He will build my city and set my exiles free with no price or bribe, says Adonai Zavat. Thus says Adonai, Egypt's toil, Ethiopia's merchandise, and all the Sabians will come to you and be yours. They will walk behind you in chains. They will bow down to you and pray, surely, saying, God is with you. There is no one else, no other God. The mystery of creation. Truly you are a God who hides himself, O God of Israel, Savior. All of them will be ashamed, disgraced, idol makers, go in dishonor together. Israel has been saved by Adonai with an everlasting salvation. You will not be put to shame or disgraced forever and ever. For thus says Adonai, He is God who fashioned the heavens, who formed the earth and made it. He established it and did not create it desolate, but formed it to be inhabited. I am Adonai, there is no other. I have not spoken in secret in a place of a land of darkness. I did not say to the seed of Jacob, seek me in desolation. I, Adonai, speak righteousness, declaring uprightly. No other God and Savior. Assemble yourselves and come draw near together, fugitives of the nations. Those who carry their wooden idols have no knowledge. Praying to a God who cannot save. Declare and present your case. Indeed, let them consult together. Who foretold this from the ancient time? Who has declared it of old? Is it not I, Adonai? There is no other God beside me. A righteous God and a Savior, there is none beside me. Turn to me and be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am God, there is no other. By myself I have sworn, the word has gone forth from my mouth in righteousness, and is irrevocable, that to me every knee will bow and every tongue will swear. They will say of me, only in Adonai is righteousness and strength. All who have raged against him will come to him and be put to shame. So in Adonai all the seed of Israel will be justified and give praise. Isaiah 46, Idols, a weary burden. Bel bows down, Nebo stoops over. Their idols are for beasts and cattle. The things you carry are borne as burdens on weary beasts. They stoop, they bow down together. They cannot save the burden, but themselves go into captivity. Listen to me, house of Jacob, all the remnant of the house of Israel, born by me from birth, carried from the womb. Even to your old age I will be the same. Until you are gray I will carry you. I have done it. I will bear you. I will carry you. I will deliver you. To whom will you liken me, or make me equal, or compare me that we should be alike? They lavish gold from a purse and weigh out silver on the scales. They hire a goldsmith, so he makes a god. They bow down, yes, they worship it. They lift up upon a shoulder and carry it. They set it in its place, and there it stands. It does not budge from its place. Even if one cry to it, it cannot answer, nor save anyone from its trouble. The purpose for Cyrus. Remember this and be assured. Recall it to mind, you transgressors. Remember the former things of old. For I am God, there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning from ancient time, what is yet to come, saying, my purpose will stand, and I will accomplish all that I please. From east I am calling a bird of prey, a man for my purpose from a far country. Truly I have spoken. I will bring it to pass. I have planned it. Surely I will do it. Listen to me, you stubborn-hearted who are far from righteousness. I bring my justice near. It is not far off, so my salvation will not delay. I put salvation in Zion, my glory in Israel. Isaiah 47, Catastrophe of Babylon. Come down and sit in the dust, virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground without a throne, daughter of the Chaldeans. For you will no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind flour. Remove your veil, strip off the skirt, uncover your leg, cross the rivers. Your nakedness will be uncovered, and your shame will be exposed. I will take vengeance, and will spare no one. Our Redeemer Adonai Zavat is his name, is the Holy One of Israel. Sit in silence, go into darkness, daughter of the Chaldeans. For you will no more be called the mistress queen of the kingdoms. I was angry with my people, I profaned my heritage. I gave them into your hand, but you showed them no mercy. You made your yoke very heavy on the aged. You said, forever I will be the eternal mistress queen. You did not lay these things to heart or remember their end. Now then, hear this, voluptuous one, dwelling securely, saying in your heart, I am, and there is no one besides me. I will not sit as a widow, or know the loss of children. These two things will come upon you in a moment, in one day, loss of children and widowhood. They will come upon you in full measure, in spite of your many sorceries and your many spells. You felt secure in your wickedness. You said, no one sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge led you astray, so you have said in your heart, I am, there is no one else beside me, but calamity will come upon you. You won't know how to charm it away. Disaster will fall on you for which you cannot atone. Catastrophe you cannot foresee will suddenly come upon you. Stand fast in your enchantments and your many sorceries, which you have toiled over since your youth. Perhaps you will succeed. Perhaps you will cause terror. You are weary of your consultations, so many, so that the astrologers, stargazers, predicting by new moons, stand up and save you from what will come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble, fire will consume them. They cannot deliver themselves from the power of the flame. It is not a coal for warning or a fire to sit before. So much have they become to you, with whom you have toiled, trafficking with you from your youth, each wandering about his own way. No one will save you. Isaiah 48. Who foretold these things? Hear this house of Jacob, who are called by the name of Israel, who came from the wellspring of Judah, who swear by the name of Adonai and confess the God of Israel, but not in truth or righteousness. For they call themselves by the holy city and lean on the God of Israel. Adonai Zavat is his name. I foretold the former things long ago. They went forth from my mouth, and I caused them to be heard. Suddenly I acted, so they came about. For I know that you are obstinate, and your neck is iron sinew, and your forehead bronze. So I foretold it to you long ago. Before it came about, I made you hear, lest you should say, my idol did them. My carved image, yes, my molded image commanded them. You have heard, see all of it, so will you not admit it? I proclaim to you new things from now on, hidden things that you have not known. They are created now, not long ago. Before today you had not heard them. So you will not say, sure, I knew them. You have not heard, you never knew. Even from long ago your ear has not been open. For I knew that you are treacherous, and from birth were called a rebel. For my name's sake I defer my anger. For my praise I will restrain it for you. Otherwise I would cut you off. Behold, I have refined you. Though not as silver, I tested you in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake I act. For how should I be profaned? I will not give my glory to another. Listen to me, Jacob, Israel, whom I called. I am he, I am the first. I am also the last. Surely my hand founded the earth. My right hand spread out the heavens. When I call to them, they stand together. Assemble all of you and listen. Who among them foretold these things? Adonai loves him. He will do his will against Babylon, his arms against the Chaldean. I have spoken. Yes, I called him. I will bring him, so his ways will succeed. Draw near to me. Hear this since the beginning. I have not spoken in secret. From the time it existed, I was there. So now Adonai Elohim has sent me, and his Ruach. Thus says Adonai, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am Adonai, your God, who teaches you to profit, who leads you in the way you should go. If only you had listened to my commandments, then your peace would be like a river, and your righteousness like the waves of the sea. Your seed would have been like sand, and your offspring like its grains. Their names would never be cut off or destroyed from before me. Get out of Babylon, free from the Chaldea, with a shout of joy, proclaim this. Send it to the ends of the earth. Say, Adonai has redeemed his servant Jacob. They did not thirst when he led them through the deserts. He caused water to flow out of the rock for them. He split the rock also, and the waters gushed out. There is no shalom, says Adonai, for the wicked. Isaiah 49, second servant song, Light of the Nations. Listen to me, islands. Pay attention, people far away. Adonai called me from thy womb. My mother's belly he named me. He made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand he hid me. He made me a polished arrow. He has hidden me in his quiver. He said to me, You are my servant Israel, in whom I will be glorified. But I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for nothing in futility. Yet surely the justice due to me is with Adonai, and my reward with my God. So now Adonai, who formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob back to him, to gather Israel back to him, for I am honored in the eyes of Adonai, and my God has become my strength. So he says, Is it too trifling a thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and restore the preserved ones of Israel? So I will give you as a light for the nations, that you should be my salvation to the end of the earth. Thus says Adonai, the Redeemer of Israel, their Holy One, to the one despised, to the one of the nation abhors, to a servant of rulers, kings will see and arise, princes will bow down because of Adonai, who is faithful, the Holy One of Israel, who has chosen you. Compassion on Zion's children. Thus says Adonai, in a time of favor I will answer you, in a day of salvation I will help you, I will keep you, and give you as a covenant to the people, to restore the land, to make them possess its desolate inheritances, saying to the prisoners, Come out, to those in darkness, be shown. Along the roads they will graze, their pasture will be on all the barren heights. They will not hunger or thirst, nor scorching wind or sun strike them, for their compassionate one will lead them and will guide them by springs of water. I will make all my mountains a road, and my highways will be raised up. Behold, these shall come from afar. Behold, these from the north and from the west and from the land of Sinai. Shout for joy, heavens, rejoice, earth. Break forth into the ringing shouts, O mountains, for Adonai has comforted his people and has compassion on his afflicted. But Zion said, Adonai has forsaken me. Adonai has forgotten me. Can a woman forget her nursing baby or lack compassion for a child of her womb? Even if these forget, I will not forget you. Behold, I have engraved you on the palm of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. Your children will come quickly. Your destroyers and devastators will go away from you. Lift up your eyes around and see. All of them will gather and come to you as I live. It is Adonai's declaration. You will wear them all as jewelry, and you will bind them on like a bride. For your waste and desolate places and your destroyed land will now be surely too small for the inhabitants, and those who swallowed you up will be far away. The children of your bereavement will yet say in your ears, The place is too cramped for me. Make room for me to settle in. Then you will say in your heart, Who has borne these for me? Wasn't I bereaved of my children, barren, and exile and wandering? So who has raised these? Behold, I was left alone. These, where were they? Thus says Adonai Elohim, Look, I will lift my hand to the nations and raise my banner to the peoples. They will bring your sons on their chests and carry your daughters on their shoulders. Kings will be your guardians, their princes your nurses. They will bow down to you with their face to the ground and lick the dust of your feet. Then you will know that I am Adonai. Those hoping in me will not be ashamed. Can plunder be taken from the mighty, or captives of the righteousness freed? For thus says Adonai, Yes, captives of the mighty will be taken, and the prey of the tyrant will be freed. For I will oppose your adversary, I will save your children, I will feed your oppressors their flesh. They will be drunk with their blood, as sweet with wine. Then all flesh will know that I, Adonai, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob.